Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2020 My Team career mode, where I bring back the Minardi name with its 1995 livery and try to bring it some glory that it failed to have in the past. So we're at the workstation in for round 7 of 16 here at the Montreal circuit in Canada. You can see there the weather forecast. FP1 and FP2 is going to be nice and sunny, and then it's going to be quite overcast from FP3 onwards, but no sign of rain, which is good. Weekend preview there from Carl, the weather forecast, is where you can see, oh, at the end of the race we're going to have a little bit of rain potentially. Now the weather does change as the week goes on, as the weekend goes on, I should say. So it's going to be mixed conditions, overcast, bit of sun, then nice and sunny, then a bit darker, and then potentially some light rain towards the end of the race, which could make things incredibly exciting. As for development upgrade, boss, I've just got out of a meeting with the engineers over in the durability department. The upgrades we've made to the department are going down well. They seem to be opening up some new avenues of development. You can look at the newly available upgrades in the R&D screen, which we already did, but to brush up on it, I've now got the durability department all the way up to Spec 1. Spent 7 million. Oh, sorry, 6.5 million on getting it all the way from nothing to Spec 1. So it's the same as the chassis department at the moment, which is quite nice. And that's left us a little bit short on money. But I think the main target now is to try and get as much money as we can to potentially sign Nick De Vries to replace Giotto once Giotto's contract expires, I think, after this weekend. So we'll have a look at some other things as well. You can see there the rivalry, 2 race weekends remaining. We're now 2 ahead of Russell, thanks to the fact that we finished Monaco and Russell didn't. The R&D tree, as you can see there, we're slowly making some gains as best as we can. We do have a gearbox durability upgrade in the pipeline, which we absolutely desperately need. And talking about the gearbox, as I said at the end of the previous episode, once the episode ends I'll advance to the next weekend, which I've now done, and it gave me the option to select a new gearbox. The event gearbox, which is running in FP3 qualifying and race, can be switched out with no penalties after your 6th weekend, which is what we've done, and so we have a fresh event gearbox in the car with no grid penalties, so that's good. We also got an aerodynamic upgrade coming onto the car. It's going to take a little while because it failed the first time. So there we go then, estimated 18th of June for the redevelopment of the rear downforce main plane for the aerodynamic department, and also the gearbox durability number 2, because we're Spec 1 now, 25th of June. As for progress history, let's have a look. Red Bull and Ferrari have had little upgrades, but Red Bull have overtaken the Italian outfit. It looks like as well that Alfa Romeo and possibly Alfa Tauri have had big upgrades. In fact, Alfa Romeo are now ranked the 5th best team in F1. A big upgrade from Haas as well. That gap has increased between ourselves and them. And Williams have had an upgrade as well, so we could find ourselves closer to them this weekend. As for the units number 2, I'll probably run all of these, to be honest, in all of the practice sessions to really get a good scope of where we are. Units number 1 are definitely starting to struggle. Maybe some of these I could use. For example, the electronics, only 52% I can probably get away with, but the turbocharger at 76 is pretty much knackered on its last legs. As for the gearbox then, practice gearbox, 13%, that's fine, it's got plenty of life in it. Event gearbox, pending, as you can see there, 67% we got after Monaco, and once we leave the garage in FP1, it'll be a brand new event gearbox. So there's nothing else really to talk about or mention, so I'll go away now and do FP1, try and get a setup together, get acclimatised to the circuit and the conditions, and I'll give you a report at the end of the session to let you know how things have gone. So here is the classification at the end of FP1. We did 12 laps in total. We got the track acclimatisation and the tyre management programs done, but both were in green, not in purple. I could probably do both again and maybe get purple, but I will leave it at green for now and try and focus on the others. But at the end of FP1, Albon was the fastest, 11.384, nearly 6 tenths quicker than Leclerc, Verstappen back in 3rd, Hamilton, Vettel and Stroll at his home race in 6th place. It's Kvyat, Ocon, Sainz and Giovinazzi. Further down the order, we've got 2 Canadians on the grid. Latifi was last, but running the hard tyres, so unrepresentable lap time there. You can just see there we were just I'd say if we found another 10th, we would have been in 15th ahead of Perez and Norris and Ricciardo, and another 100th we would have been ahead of Ricciardo. But we were ahead of Raikkonen, a couple of tenths ahead of Giotto, and about half a second ahead of Grosjean. Russell, meanwhile, ended up in 13th place. Now, the lap time there was a bit skewy. because I think I set my best lap time when I was running the Overtake ERS to try and complete one of my practice programs, so I'm not too sure really of where we are in the pecking order. We're ahead of obviously our teammate and Latifi, as we usually are anyway, but to be that close to Ricardo, Norris and Perez, and they're all in the same tyres, is a bit unrealistic, I think. So we'll have to just focus on the next couple of practice sessions, do a lap basically with everything at normal, and hopefully that will give us a better representable lap time. But FP1's going okay. I've got a decent setup on the car, it feels okay. I'm tweaking around with the tyre pressures as well to try and get them as balanced as I can at the moment. The rears on both the left and the right hand side are a bit higher than the fronts. That's because there's a lot of directional changes and a lot of heavy acceleration zones, I should say. So yeah, but it's something, it's not really a massive concern, but it's something I've got to sort of tweak during FP2 and FP3. But so far it's going okay here at Montreal. Well, FP2 ends with Lance Stroll. Somehow, Lance Stroll at his home event ends up being the fastest driver on the soft tyres. I don't know, maybe some drivers get like a boost at their home events. I don't know. That'd be quite cool, actually. I think if Codemasters have programmed it that if a driver's at his home event, they are given a little bit of a boost, which is usually what happens anyway. You usually see drivers at their home race do quite well. So yeah, anyway, Stroll's fastest, whatever. Ahead of Hamilton, Albon in third. Gasly was in fourth on the soft tyres as well. Scrolling further down, then we ended up the session in 14th place. We managed to complete the fuel management program in purple. We tried the ERS management program and we failed. And then starting the third lap, I clipped the wall, damaged the wing a little bit, so it was completely over and done with at that point, as with the soft tyres anyway that I was using. And then the rain fell, so we had a bit of rain towards the end of FP2. So 14th place in a 13.230. No one else behind us was on the softs. You can see that Ocon went out on the intermediates before the end. Difficult really to know where we're going to be. We set that lap using the ERS management program, where obviously you give it a big boost down the straight, so it's a bit unrepresentable, I should think, in FP2. In FP3 I won't give the qualifying one a go. Well, I might give the qualifying one a go, I don't know, but I'm probably looking at the race strategy one to try and get resource points for that. But I feel okay with the car. I'm fiddling around with the tyre pressures as well to try and get them balanced as much as possible. I don't think we're going to be like super competitive here, but I think we're going to be pretty much around where we usually have been all season, which is P18, P19 in qualifying. So we'll go to FP3 now, and I'll see you guys in the garage. Okay, so just under 20 minutes left of FP3, just a 30-minute session, of course. We're now onto the event gearbox, a brand new gearbox, which is pretty cool. You can see there the track acclimatization we did in green, same for the tyre management. Purple in the fuel management, we failed the ERS. I'm going to give the race strategy one a go. We can get some team objectives here if we're fast in sector 1, 2 and 3 of the qualifying pace program, but I don't think we're good enough here to really do that, and I don't want to waste the tyres. The race strategy one seems like the more viable option. As for the power units, obviously using units number 2 now throughout this weekend. You can see they're in the 30s, 20s and 40s. Gearbox, you can see that is now pending. It will go on to well, basically we'll be using that gearbox once we leave the garage, so a brand new gearbox for us. As for lap times, then some people are on softs, mediums and hards. Giotto's on the softs, a 13.557, so hopefully we can get a low 13 or maybe even a very high 12 if we can. So we'll select the race strategy program and we'll drive out of the garage and give you a slow tour of the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, of course named after a legendary Formula 1 driver who was killed really much in his prime. You ask any F1 fan about Gilles Villeneuve and he was the sort of driver that he just had that big dick energy, you know. He didn't care, he just drove flat out all the time, and he really is one of those drivers that should have won a world championship and was taken a bit too soon from us. Best part of 30 odd years ago now. Of course, his son Jacques was the second driver to win a world championship, coming from a family of F1 drivers. The first one, of course, was Damon Hill, who was the son of a former world champion in Graham Hill. Jacques Villeneuve managed to emulate what his father could not by winning an F1 championships. Anyway, here we are then. Let's not talk about Gilles Villeneuve, let's talk about the circuit. We've got 3 DRS zones here. You've got the one just there that we've been through there, but I didn't open up on. And then we've got another one, we're going through the activation point just now, the white line just there. and we've got one along the back straight and along the main straight as well, which is activated by that same DRS detection point. So ideally, if you manage to get past going into the final chicane, you can use the DRS to put away a little bit from your opponent behind into turn 1. If you fail to get past into the chicane, you get a second stab of it into turn 1. Sector 1 and Sector 2 very much left, right, or right, left, as it's a clockwise circuit. And then Sector 3 is pretty much straight, filled up by the chicane. So, out of the final corner, I'll knuckle down now, and hopefully we can get purple on this. So across the line, green in the first 3 of 5 laps, which means you've got a purple score. We'll carry on then for the final 2 laps. I've been using the ERS a little bit. As you can see, it's down in the 50s. Just to give me a little bit of a boost along the straights to make sure we get these programs done. It's pretty easy, really. So we're back in the garage now then, just over 9 minutes remaining, and look at that, purple in Sector 3. Yeah, on our best lap there, obviously using quite a bit of the ERS down the back straight towards the final chicane, and then across the main straight to the line as well. That's pretty much it really. Sector 3 is, yeah, it's only a couple of corners in it really. And yeah, we were purple in Sector 3, which is nice. 1.5 off of, who is it in first? Hamilton. He was purple in Sector 1. I won't go out again. I'll let the time roll down, and we're almost a second ahead of Giotto, also on the soft tyres. Again, it's a little bit unrepresentable because obviously we was boosting with the ERS and the rich fuel mix as well to make sure we got this practice program done. You can see there we have completed it, so we end with 370 out of a possible 550. Yeah, not too bad really. The tyres, I should say, really not great with the soft tyres. I mean, I'm okay for about 4 or 5 laps and they start to go off. I don't know if I'll actually use the soft tyres in the race. It could be another race where we use the mediums and the hards, because they're expected to do 18 and 23 laps, which is 41 in total. I think it's going to be possibly a, I'm not too sure if it's going to, what is it going to be, a 38 lap race or something like that. So mediums and hards will probably be the way to go for us. But still though, purple in Sector 3 is always nice. So there we go, FP3 concludes with Hamilton being the fastest, just ahead of Albon and Bottas. Kvyat was up into 4th place, Norris in 6th as well. Verstappen on the soft tyres all the way down in 10th. There's Vettel only ahead of him in 9th as well. So it's a bit of an upside down top 10 we see. We saw that Stroll was fastest in FP2. And now we've got Kvyat up in 4th place, who I don't think I've actually said anything about so far this season. He's been having a quiet year so far. We end the session in 14th place on a 12.617, just a 100th of a second away from Stroll and just a couple of hundredths ahead of Gasly. As for other runners, Giotto, our teammate, was almost, like I said, almost a second off. Russell, Ocon and Latifi towards the back of the row. And Ocon's got a 5-place grid penalty. So what's happened there? We'll have a look at the race director. Ocon there, collision with Stroll. So he hit Stroll in the practice session somewhere, somehow, and has picked up a 5-place grid penalty. So that could be interesting. You see there, pretty much everyone used the soft tyres apart from a couple of the guys towards the back of the field. So we'll advance now, see what resource points and acclaim that we have gained for the team, and then focus our attentions onto qualifying. So the resource points gained, 407 from us, 140 from Giotto, takes up to 671, so a nice healthy amount after that as well. 12% for me for the acclaim, 14 for Giotto, 26 in total. You can see now it is starting to slow down for all of us and the team as well as we move up the level, so it's going to get harder and harder from here on now to improve our acclaim personally and for the team as well, but still looking pretty positive going ahead. So here we are then, back at the workstation. We've got the obligatory message from Jeff about the circuit, so we don't really need to listen to that. Overcast for qualifying and the race, and I do believe as well the weather might change. It does sort of evolve a little bit over the weekend, bearing in mind FP1 was obviously Friday morning, race will be Sunday afternoon, so there's 2 and a bit days there for it to change, but as I seem to remember that there might be a bit of a rain shower towards the end of the race. 35 laps it is, not 38 or 39 that I expected. So the rivalry there of George Russell as we out qualify him, then we'll move up to 19 to 16. So we're 2 ahead at the moment, could be 3 ahead after the qualifying session, 2 weekend 2 weekends, I should say, remaining. The durability department as well has got a good morale at the moment. I had a couple of questions at the end of FP3 there from Claire, who does all of the obligatory interviews. And one of the questions was, what department have you been focusing on this weekend? I said, durability department, because we need to do some work over there, even though we do have a couple of things on order. As for the units then, obviously we'll carry these into qualifying in a race. They're still healthy enough, although 47% for the turbocharger is a bit of a worry. So we do need to do some more work on the durability department. The gearbox then, we're now onto our second event gearbox, 2% already, which is good. It should be getting better and better now to complete 6 races without having to change it out for a penalty. So we'll advance now to qualifying, 18-minute session, got enough time there for at least 3 runs, maybe 2 if we feel like it, and secure our place on the grid for the race. Okay, so in the garage, 16.5 odd minutes left of the session. It's going to be overcast for the entire session. I've had a look at the race as well. There is still a bit of rain forecast at the end. Could all change before tomorrow, of course. See, there's a few cars out on circuit. I don't think anyone's actually set a lap time yet. So the car setup will drain the fuel out a little bit. Keep the setup as is anyway. I'm fairly comfortable and happy with it. Tyres, obviously we're on the soft tyres. So we'll go out on the circuit, part thermo regulations in effect.
When you're ready, let's go.
Engine fires up in the background. And we'll get the Minardi out on the circuit. Target, as always, P19. And so Renault just comes past us. See, thinking about the race, 2-stop strategy is probably possible round here. It's not going to be that much slower than a 1-stop because you basically fly into the pit lane at the entrance to the final chicane, so you cut that out, and then when you exit the pit lane you basically bypass turn 1 and arrive on the outside of turn 2. It's one of the few circuits here where a 2-stop is probably more beneficial because you could run obviously softer compounded tyres, you can push the tyres a bit further as well, so we might, when we go into the race, try and do a like soft, medium, hard set up the strategy or something like that. Soft, mediums won't be possible. But we've got to remember as well, we've got rain predicted at the end of the race. Whether it arrives or not in time to negate the switch onto the intermediate tyres, we'll have to wait and see. We won't know until that rain arrives at what point in the race. So who's that behind me? It's Kvyat, so I'll slow down and allow him through. Just going right to the line now. We'll stay to the right hand side, shortest run to the line, and it is the 111.316. We're half a second off of Sainz behind Russell, ahead of Gasly though. So we've got a Mercedes behind us. Go on then, Hamilton, before you go. Oh, you're going to do that really gay thing, aren't you, when you're going to do my speed? Whatever. Okay, back to the pits then. We'll have a look at the times of everyone else around us and see if we can improve. Okay, so the track seems fairly empty at the moment, which is always a good opportunity to get out there for a second run. We'll have a look at the lap times anyway. So ahead of Latifi, Gasly and Giotto. Hamilton, for whatever reason, didn't set a lap time. We're just about a tenth, or half a tenth away from Russell. I'm definitely sure that we could... where do we lose a bit of time? Sector 1, Sector 2.
1 minute, 11.3.
Yeah, so we've put on another set of soft tyres. You can see there now the track is slowly starting to get quiet, middle part of the session. So we'll drive out.
All set. Everyone clear?
And we'll use the empty track to our advantage and try to improve. Half a tenth will get us ahead of Russell. I'm pretty sure we can find a bit more than that on our second run. Car felt a bit understeery in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Felt quite good down the straights. So we'll have to improve that as best as we can. Okay, here we go. Open up the DRS. Let's see if we can improve. No. Mistakes everywhere. I'm really struggling to nail the perfect lap here. I know I'm going wrong. I'm losing a bit of time on the exit of turn 2. I'm losing time at turns 3 and 4. Which are the right left that we're coming up to now. And also the hairpin as well. Sometimes I'm braking just a bit too early there. And I need to be more aggressive over the final chicane. I can definitely brake a little earlier and carry more speed through V chicane and on exit as well. And yeah, we're just losing time in various places. If I nail a perfect lap, I reckon we can improve by at least half a second. So we've got time to get back to the pits now and put on another set of soft tyres and go out again, because we definitely need to improve. Okay, just over 2 minutes left of the session. We're going back out then for our third and final attempt. I've knocked the front wing from 5 up to 6 to try and give us a bit more downforce in the left-right chicanes, because obviously at one point we're struggling. Just waiting now to get the opportunity to get out on circuit. So it looks like the McLarens and the Renaults are out first. And then we've got Giotto behind us, both the Williams just ahead of us. And we've got the Mercedes, Ferraris and Red Bulls coming out at the very back. So we're not really worried about the Mercedes, Ferraris and Red Bulls. I will allow Giotto through. And we've got a good gap. I think everything's okay. Right, here we go.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
We will improve. Nailed the final chicane. So Hamilton then takes pole position. He literally left it to the last second. He hadn't set a lap time before that final run. Bottas on the front row alongside him. Both drivers, both the Red Bulls. Stroll then at his home race in 7th. Kvyat in 8th. Ocon, Ricciardo for the 2 Renaults complete the top 10 minutes. Perez, Raikkonen, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Grosjean for Haas. Norris down in 17th. Gasly up to 18th. We ended up in 19th place ahead of Russell, Latifi and Giotto. We would have been ahead of Latifi and Giotto anyway. But yeah, we finished that lap, I think, about 3.5 attempts up on our previous best. I lost a couple of attempts in, what will it be? It'll be in turns 8 and 9, I think it is, at the end of the, like, sort of the small back straight DRS zone. I took too much speed going in and had a bit of oversteer on the way out. I visibly shook my head, although you can't see it when that was going on because I could see that we was losing a bit of time. So if it wasn't for that, we could have been definitely ahead of Gasly and very close to both Norris and Grosjean. It's a short lap here, as you can see, 110s, 111s really. Well, for the midfield, it's 109s at the front of the field, 108 for Hamilton. So yeah, it could be a very close race this. We've got the threat of rain towards the end. I'm almost certainly going to select the 2-stop strategy anyway, because the tyre wear is quite high. We've achieved a target of 19th and out-qualified Russell, so that definitely helps us. It's a shame though, because if I'd nailed that last lap there perfectly, we would have got ahead of, you know, the AlphaTauri and the McLaren, and maybe even challenged the Haas as well, which shows good progress for myself and obviously the team. So the rivalry breakdown then, 2-1 against Russell. That's going to increase our score just a little bit more. 19-16 now. There's 2 weekends remaining, including this one, so we probably won't get to 30. But we're definitely ahead of him now. 12% for me, 14 for Giotto, 26 combined for the team. You can see now how much 26% doesn't really move us up a lot. So everything is going to slow down a little bit now, which is fair enough. You know, you have to consistently improve with every weekend and keep pumping in those good results to get your acclaim up. But with Giotto starting at the back over a second slower than us, it's quite clear that we need a better teammate. And if you can remember the last episode, we're taking a big look at Nick de Vries. I think probably once this race ends, I think it'll be time for contract negotiation. But we'll focus on the race rather than everything else after. But this could very well be Giotto's last race for Minardi. So back at the workstation, we got a message from Jeff, of course, about the pre-race. You can see there the weather, it's going to be overcast and the sun is slowly going to break through, nice and sunny, and then it's slowly going to get darker with the rain towards the end. Mixed conditions on track, very much so. Could be pretty interesting. I'll probably spend a bit of time looking at the race strategy because I am probably going to do the standard 2-stop. I think that would be better for us in the race because our tyre wear is so high and it gives me the opportunity to push more. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting then, really, with that rain arriving towards the end. You know, if it negates the switch into the intermediates in the final lap, we might do it, we might not, depending where we are. So it could be quite an exciting race here, as long as, of course, we have no incidents and get to the end. There's nothing else really to look at, so we'll go to the race. We'll have a look at the build-up screen and then the grid position, see if anyone has any penalties, and then focus on getting that race strategy correct.
Bonjour! It's time once again to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles an hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions. And watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and the final chicane. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Alexander Albon, and Verstappen, Stroll, Kvyat, Ricciardo, and Sergio Perez. Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon, and Magnussen, Grosjean, Norris, Pierre Gasly, and Carlos Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty. Lee, Russell, Giotto, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So Ocon, of course, had the 5-place grid penalty for the incident in one of the practice sessions, hitting, I think it was Stroll, can't remember, and also someone else, was it Sainz? Yeah, it was Sainz, just ahead of us there on the right hand side. He's also had a 5-place grid penalty, and Latifi as well, which pushes Giotto up into 21st. So, race strategy, mediums onto hards, or soft mediums hards, I think is the one that we'll go for. It's already the selected one. Fuel as well, because we completed the race strategy program, it's given us more of a balanced sort of setup, but to be honest with you, I think we'll be using quite a bit of our US down the straights. So I'm going to start with 2 laps worth of extra fuel. I think that'll be fine, 2 laps worth of extra fuel. Soft, mediums and hards is fine. I could probably do softs, hards until the rain. Well, maybe I could do medium hards until the rain. No, I want to do soft, mediums, hards. This is the strategy we're going to go. So yeah, soft, mediums, hards. So we'll start the formation lap. Starting from P19.
Let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
Yep, already done that for you, Jeff. So, yeah, looks like everyone around us is starting on the soft tyres, which is sort of what I would expect. I think pretty much the whole field, from first back to 22nd, are going to be going soft, mediums and hards, and then work out what the rain is going to do. So I think it's going to be down to pace. More than anything else, rather than strategy. Of course, there could be a cheeky safety car or a virtual safety car out there at some point. And if there is, I might make the change onto the hard tyres until this expected rain shower arrives. It's a bit overcast at the moment, but you can see the sun trying to creep through. That will get better as it goes on. Hopefully, I haven't just picked up any damage there clipping the wall. No, I haven't. Last thing we want to do is damage the car in the formation lap. That'll be a bit stupid. And yeah, hopefully first couple of laps are going to be quite busy. And then we'll try and settle down into a rhythm. And then probably as soon as we settle down into a rhythm, the first round of pit stops will be upon us. And now the AI takes control of our car. Key overtaking spots, turn 1, but I'll try and get moves done into the final chicane if I can with the either rich mix or the overtake button on the ERS, and then use the second part of the DRS to pull away to protect myself into turn 1. But it's going to be a very busy, hectic first couple of laps here. Very narrow circuit, not a directional changes. So the lights come on now. And away we go. It's an average start. Feeling brave there. I might hang around the outside if I can. Got a collision with Gasly somewhere, but I'm not too sure how. I'm up to P17 then off the start. Oh, I had to slam on the brakes there a little bit. We'll send it. Not bad. P16, probably the best start I've had so far this season. Gained 3 positions.
That's a decent start. Good job.
Oh, that was late on the brakes. Yellow flags. Hopefully it's not me for damage. It's not. Busy first lap then. Across the line to start lap 2. We're right in the midfield here. Sort of bit exceeding expectations here, I feel. I'm finding the going tough to hold on to this. Oh, and Grosjean spun us, you fucking monkey. All the way down at the 21st, Gasly's in the pit, so maybe the yellow flag was for him, and Grosjean does a Grosjean and spins someone. Fucking French bastard. Oh, I got a better exit. I'm going to use a bit of ERS as well. Past the Tiffy into turn 3. Next target is Giotto.
Good job, nice overtake.
We are finding the going tough a little bit though. Soft tyres are already starting to cry. It's the same for everyone, of course. So all we can do is just wait until the pit stop. It should be in about 3 laps. Since lap 7, we're going to box it at the end of this lap. A little earlier.
We're approaching the pit window.
We are struggling.
On the mediums.
On these soft tyres, everyone is, to be honest. It's not as though we're losing time to everyone ahead of us. The last thing I want to do is have an accident. So we'll be in for the mediums at the end of this lap.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Here we go then, coming in. Onto the medium tyres. We'll rejoin probably, I think maybe around Gasly, who's obviously pitted at the end of lap 1 to fix damage. And we'll push on a bit now, try and get a jump over a few cars. Maybe able to do medium before the rain. But it is a risk because we don't know how long this rain is going to wait until it arrives. So Gasly does pass us, but we might just about get him. Nope, he's going to be ahead of us. That's fine. Stay in his wheel checks if we can. Pick up the DRS. So we're now in Gasly's DRS. Loads of cars in the pits as well. Are we going to be able to jump any of them? There's a McLaren of Science. Just managed to squeeze him out. Gaining positions here to P15. Ahead of both the McLarens and Ricciardo. My own teammate and both the Williams drivers as well. I'm sure Gasly will be pitting in the next couple of laps as well. His medium tyres are going to be pretty knackered, I feel, having pitted at the end of lap 1. Got a great run on Gasly here. Oh! And we managed to get the jump and pull away as well. It's P13 now.
It is 6.3 seconds.
Okay, coming across the line to start lap 16, almost half distance. Sainz has managed to get past Gasly as well, who continues to drop away because he's on those used set of medium tyres. I'm okay, I'm feeling comfortable with these tyres. Some drivers out there have made the switch onto the softs, most on the mediums. And Jeff told me a couple of minutes ago that the rain is about 15 minutes away, which sort of ties us into about lap 26, 27. So I won't defend too much from Sainz because I'll end up burning up through the tyres a bit too much, and well, Sainz should be faster than us anyway, so it'd be a pointless endeavour to hold him off. And here he goes. Not much I can do.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Deep into the hairpin. Didn't help. And we've allowed Ocon through into P14. Rain is about 10 minutes away now. I'm thinking about making a change onto the hard tyres soon. It's a shame we haven't got another set of mediums because these tyres have felt okay actually. We've done 11 laps on them, 12 laps on them, and they feel good. Wish I had another set.
The pit window, you'll be on the hards.
So we're making a change now onto the hard tyres. We'll join at the back. Hopefully, well, the Mercedes cars are absolutely romping away with it. There's other cars out there, so some drivers that made a change onto the soft tyres are now coming in now.
Go, exit now.
So this isn't really a strategy call. It's just not making sure we don't overdrive the medium tyres. And we pretty much now wait for the rain. And there's Gasly, also on the hard tyres. We've got Norris behind us, Grosjean as well. We're under attack from Norris here. I'm going to defend the inside. And he's just mugged us right around the outside. I hope I didn't get any damage. Alright, we're good. So we'll start slipping away here a little bit I think. We've got some quicker guys around us on the medium tyres. Giotto's now in, that's crucial. Oh, and I've got Magnussen beside me. And I've accidentally yeeted him in the wall. Well, fuck him. I mean, well, I left him enough space, I thought. I'm worried about Magnussen, really. What I am worried about is the Williams and Giotto and all that lot. And it looks like they are quite a bit behind. So that helps me. Coming into lap 28 of 35, only a handful of laps to go. It's got a lot darker last few laps, so I'll be expecting the rain to arrive sooner rather than later. We're slowly pulling away from Grosjean and Magnussen behind. We're keeping a respectable gap to Ocon and Norris ahead, but that'll be purely by the dint of the fact that their medium tyres will be wearing off quicker than my hards. Blue flag's being shown, but that's not for me. That's the Mercedes guys who are a bit OP at the moment this season, slowly making their way through that gaggle behind. And I've just seen raindrops. It's started to slowly rain here, so now it's a waiting game.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Understood, copy that.
So Jeff's asked me to pit now for intermediates. I'm gonna believe him. So we're in now for the intermediates. I think we're the only car in for the intermediates. This could be a master stroke or it could be a complete failure. DRS has just been disabled. It's usually the go-to sign. We've got Williams and my teammate also in.
Conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least.
Okay, so the rain's going to get heavier and heavier. Here we go then. We're on the intermediates. Well, it came out at the absolute perfect time, because when we came out we were 8-9 seconds behind the Latifi. We're now down to just over 3, as you can see. So it was the perfect opportunity. She might gain a couple of positions here. A lot of cars in the pits, as you would expect. P15 momentarily, but Gasly and Norris have managed to get past.
Okay, the gap behind is 8.4.
And let's see what we're like compared to the AI in these conditions. So Hamilton's lapped me, which means it's one less lap in these conditions. We've also got yellow flags out there for something. Looks like a Williams possibly going slowly. It's either Russell or Latifi, obviously. We're running in 17th out of 22, soon to be 21. Russell's still going, he is behind me. So it'll be Latifi then that's unfortunately got an issue. Be one less lap for us to complete as well, so just 3 laps left to go for us at the line. And Latifi is indeed out, and we've got a virtual safety car for it. So coming over the line now to start what will be our final lap, having been put a lap down by Hamilton. Norris and Gasly are also a lap down, or Gasly is just ahead of Hamilton, so he will be a lap down by the end of this race. We're losing a couple of attempts here and there to Russell, certainly in the really slow corners. But other than that, it's been an okay race really. We put a couple of moves on, we've been overtaken as well. We've been fighting a lot in this race with sort of the Alpha Tauris and the McLarens and a little bit of Ocon as well, so sort of fighting cars and drivers that we probably shouldn't be, which is nice. And I will take a P17 and we'll beat Russell as well. Got blue flags, so Bottas is behind me, so I'll probably let him go, because the last thing I want is a penalty right at the very end. There he goes. Russell is a long way away anyway, so we would have lost time to Russell, but it doesn't matter too much. Hamilton's going to win, Bottas is second, and Mercedes at the moment are absolutely streets ahead of Ferrari and Red Bull. But we'll come out of the final chicane and kept it clean. Interesting with the rain. It's a P17, but I'm happy with it. So Hamilton wins the race. Bottas in second, who lapped us there on the final lap. Vettel completes the podium. Verstappen, Leclerc and Albon, the big 6 in the top 6. And you can see there's a gap between Albon and Kvyat, 16 seconds. About the same as well between Bottas and Vettel. So Mercedes really are pretty dominant at this stage of the first season. Kvyat, 7th then, managed to get past Stroll, who does pick up points at his home event. You can see most people made 3 stops. Ricciardo and Giovinazzi complete the top 10. Then it's Perez, Raikkonen, Sainz, Ocon, Gasly, Norris, ourselves. All 3 of us were a lap down. We finished ahead of Russell as well and set a fastest lap. That'll help us in our rivalry. Grosjean was 19th, Giotto 20th, Magnussen 21st, and Latifi was the sole retirement. So we beat both the Williams, our teammate, and both of the Haas cars on pure pace as well. And I had a bit of a coming together with both Grosjean and Magnussen, which doesn't surprise me. Them two are a bit of a nightmare. So the standings then. Hamilton extends his lead, 21 points ahead of Verstappen, just 2 ahead of Vettel. Bottas with his second place moves ahead of Leclerc. Giovinazzi with an extra point moves ahead of Norris. We stay in 13th. Ricciardo also moves up into 14th place, and Stroll moves up a couple of positions to 16th as well. Still 4 drivers yet to score points. Raikkonen, both the Williams of Russell and Latifi, and Giotto. In the Constructors, Mercedes hold on to the lead, 26 points ahead of Ferrari, 33 ahead of Red Bull. McLaren pretty much safe in 4th, I think. Good battle between AlphaTauri and Renault. They're tied now in 5th and 6th. Racing Point with a couple of points. Same for Alfa Romeo as well. Extend their gap over us just a little bit. But we remain safe and secure in P9 for now. Haas, if they have a decent weekend, could jump us. But we're 12 points ahead of Williams and looking comfortable. So the rivalry breakdown there, 4-2 against George Russell. Finished ahead of him and set the fastest lap. So up to 23-18 now with just one weekend remaining. So we're looking good to put that rivalry away. The team acclaim 12% for me, 14 again for Giotto, 26 combined for the team. We should be level 10 at the end of next weekend. I may very well be level 7 myself. And finally, the cash. We continue to complete the 2 secondary sponsors. So $308,000. Damage deductions, 10,000 for Giotto. So you picked up damage somewhere. We obviously did as well. That puts our balance then up to 3.7 million. So straight back at the headquarters, we can renew our sponsor with Atlantic and Zigzag, or we can manage our sponsors and try to get better ones. So that's exactly what we'll do. We'll manage our sponsors. You can see there that our primary sponsors now weekly income almost $500,000 a week, which is nice. Goal bonus is now over 5 million. So secondary sponsors, we go for something still fairly easy, I should say, but should give us a better goal bonus. So I'll have a look. We could re-sign with Atlantic, but we'll try to go for something a little bit better. As a team, complete a total of 50 laps during the race weekend. That should be relatively easy. Beat your rival during a race. Achieve. We'll go scroll down to the bottom then, because these are the more expensive ones, I think. Well, I don't know really. They're all different. They're sponsored names. We could sort by. We'll sort by weekly income. So we'll go to the most expensive then, and see what that offers. Achieve and hold first position for 4 laps. Not going to happen. Achieve and hold position for 10 laps. First, qualifying P4 or better. As a team, complete a total of 75 laps during the race weekend. We could re-sign with Atlantic. Gives us a good weekly income and goal bonus. And as long as we get to the end of the weekend, we should easily be able to complete that. So it's not a bad sponsor really to have. Complete a weekend without colliding with another vehicle. That's debatable. Painity, achieve a top 12 finish. Not going to happen. Top 10. That's going to be difficult, I think, really. Although this one here, it's 140 days, a top 10, so we score a point in the next, I don't know, 4 months. But of course, we've got splits in the calendar with races being cancelled. Score 10 championship points, qualifying P10, achieve the fastest lap. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. I think we're going to have to re-sign with Atlantic, to be honest, because we've been doing it every weekend, and it gives us a nice, healthy amount. So we'll also re-sign with Atlantic. We'll get another one as well, weekly income. We'll keep it at the same as well. We'll scroll down a little bit more to try and find something easy. Answer at least 2 interview questions during a race weekend. The goal bonus and the weekly income. Well, goal bonus is quite high. That should be easy enough to do. Then driver of the day. Complete a race with no DNFs within the team. That's not too bad. Complete all practice programs. Complete a clean race. We'll go for something fairly easy. Score more points than the team directly above you in the vehicle performance comparison. Achieve a top 14 finish, qualifying 15th, beat your rival, overtake 5 different drivers. As a team, complete a total of 30 laps during practice. As a team, complete a total of 30 laps during the race weekend. I think that's Novus. Should be easy enough to do. I think we'll sign with Novus. So goal bonus to 208, weekly income of 131. Contract left 140 days. So yeah, we'll sign with Novus then. That's good then. We're very close to signing a 3rd sponsor. But anyway, we'll come back here to the overview. We've got 10 days then really until the next one. We'll have a look. What I want to do is have a look at the corporate side and the contracts. 14 days. So Giotto will have 1 more race with us. But we'll have a look at the driver market. But of course we are looking at Nick De Vries, who's there, who's a level 6. So Giotto's a 7, Latifi's an 8, Giovinazzi's a 9. all the others do improve, I think, just in general anyway. But I think signing Nick De Vries is a better option. I mean, Jack Aitken, Antoine Hubert. It was nice to see Antoine Hubert still in the game, despite the fact, of course, he tragically passed away last season at the one of the F2 races at Spa. You've got Matsushita as well, Jordan Keane, Callum Ilott. Oh, these guys are a bit down a little bit. But yeah, I think we'll be offering Nick De Vries a contract once all this is over and done with. Giotto's value has gone up a little bit anyway, so it's going to be $2 million then, I think, to get Nick De Vries, so that's fine. So I'll have a look at what we can do. Facilities, I'm pretty happy with how everything are at the moment. I've got 831 resource points. And if you look there, we've got the rear wing, main plane and the gearbox durability coming in before the French Grand Prix. We don't really have enough money at the moment to buy anything because obviously we've got to save our money to get Nick De Vries. R&D, obviously we've got two things coming in shortly. Units number 2, some of these are starting to struggle a little bit, so we'll have to order some new parts at some point. Gearbox 12% wear after the first weekend, that's fine. 19% on the practice gearbox, that's fine. Corporate we've sorted out as well. Finances, you can see there how much we're making and the finance history. A big dip there, as you can see. That was getting the durability department up. So we'll have a look at the activities then, see what we can do. We won't do anything for the second driver because we know his time is coming to an end with Minardi. Sponsor advertisement for the vehicle generates $30,000 and the team acclaim by 500, which is quite helpful. Team acclaim there as well. Aero team building, durability department focus. I think what we'll do a durability department focus because that's certainly the next department I'm going to be looking at to improve. We'll do a sponsor event conference and we'll do the sponsor advertisement as well, which brings a bit of money in. Once everything is over and done with, and plenty of acclaim for the team as well. So we'll advance now until the French Grand Prix. So the rear wing main plane is now in the car. Durability department focus has gone up a little bit. Our weekly resources coming in as well to nearly at $4.5 million. And the gearbox durability is up as well. So there we go then. Our acclaim has gone up all the way up into level 10, which is nice. So we can go to sponsorship and we can sign a third sponsor. Something easy, please. Let's have a look. And there's probably one of these that's like, what's one of the lowest? It's going to be something really easy, isn't it? Answer at least 4 interview questions during a race weekend. That's quite a big goal bonus actually. Look at that, 241. It's only 74 days as well. Out-qualify your rival as a team, complete a total of 10 laps during the race weekend, 10 laps during practice, 50 laps during a race weekend, complete a race with no DNFs, beat your rival during a race, 30 laps. So 30 laps gives us a goal bonus, 154, 138. 154. As a team complete. Oh, we're signing this one in. Avanzar. So we'll take on Avanzar as a team complete a total of 50 laps during a race weekend. I'm not confident about going for the points, the fastest laps and all that jazz just yet because we are still quite low down. So we're signing with an easy one. And we're starting to get some more and more sponsors onto the car. So R&D in progress, obviously nothing there. I'll go through all the changes going into next weekend. You can see the progress history. That'll all be updated, of course, once we go into France, hopefully, anyway. Facilities, we'll leave it as it is as well. $4.5 million, so everything is okay. And we'll be in a position, I think, to sign Nick De Vries once this is done, or at least offer him a contract. How long has Giotto got with us? I don't know, how do I do that? Contracts, there we go, yeah, so 4 days. So basically once the next race, France, which is the halfway point of the season, is over, we'll be hopefully saying goodbye to Giotto and signing Nick De Vries. Then we'll spend quite a lot of time getting him nice and improved. So there we go then, that is the weekend at Canada over. Got France to look forward to, round 8 of 16, so the halfway point of the season. It's a circuit I quite like, to be honest with you. Not a lot of people do, but I quite like it, which is why I've kept it on. And as for Canada, yeah, okay, we're just going through the motions at the moment, really. The next big thing for us is obviously to sign a better second driver because Giotto really has not been performing. He really hasn't, let's be honest. And as for the qualifying, yeah, same old really. We qualified in a position that we were expected to be, and the race was a little better as well. Beat both the hard cars. quite happy that the rain came towards the end and it wasn't longer in the race, because I didn't feel as comfortable in the wet as I did in the dry. Strategy was a bit hit and miss. Most people did mediums. We didn't have a second set of mediums, which is a shame, which is what I wanted to run. But we finished the race, picked up more resource points and a lot more money, and so we continue our push into the second half of the season. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one very soon.